Sure, good. So my name is Centurion Rúna Bjarki. I've been wrapping my legs for a while now. So I'm gonna go over a little bit of like some of the history and stuff, what they're known for. We can have to do a few questions, and then I'm gonna go over several different ways and how to wrap them. And so like end up going over like with no hooks, with the panula brooches, with hooks, and you'll get my less spicy opinions on which hooks are better than others. And I actually have a pair that reason, and I'll show you why I don't like them as much as like the ones that I'm wearing. That's because they catch better, but we'll go over that, and then I will show you the fancy pattern. It is the pattern that everyone likes to learn. So I'm gonna grab I got handouts for those. Yeah. And I'm gonna read off my handout. So I can't take credit for writing this handout. I'm not gonna pronounce their name because I'm not good at the whole thing, and they will watch this video later and make fun of me. So the person who made it is Kitty. Everyone knows them as Katerina. Katerina
Stepanova Dosnovgoroskaya.
Yes, once again, everyone knows them as Kit. They were nice enough to win town to help me write this out. I am better at teaching the class portion. So, like, I'm gonna read off this, and then I have a few notes, and then we'll get into the full of it, alright? So, when they're Winnies, I call them Winnies for short, but Winingas, I had it 2 seconds ago. Viningir, I can't do it.
Viningir?
That's better than me. And onuchi are different words that you can use for them. So everyone normally in the society calls them Winingas, but there are different names for them. So if you see that, they're talking about leg wraps. Before the medieval period, these long, narrow strips of fabric were wrapped snugly around the lower legs, worn across northern Europe. They're a key component during to ensure that like your Saxon, Dane, Norse, Rus kits look the part. If you look at people and they look like they're missing something, sometimes, especially these earlier periods, it's the leg wraps themselves. We'll tie it together a lot better. The leg wraps were mainly made out of wool. However, there are other kinds that I have with me today. You have linen, and I don't know exactly which one this is, but there's also made out of linen. I prefer wool over linen, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But the wool, whether herringbone, that's the type of what these look like, or the pattern of it, or tutu twill, usually woven to measure, or a 1-1 tabby cut of a length of a larger kind, which I actually own a pair still. Of a woven cloth. Were generally between 3 to 4 inches wide and long enough to securely wrap around your ankle to knee. Fun fact about that, I can tell, I've done this long enough for people by how your calf and legs feel, whether you could get the standard size from the Bad Baronesses, or you have to get the larger size that they have for like people like skeggy size. For skeggy size, if you need those, and if you only have the regular pair, that will also tell me if I can do this herringbone pattern or just the regular wrap up because of how long and wide they are compared to your legs. So like do it long enough and you start figuring that out. So there are different types of people who make the bigger ones for bigger boys for their legs. Wool has enough give to wrap securely without cutting off your circulation. Linen is less forgiving. For the record. When wrapped correctly, they provide compression, keep the lower legs warm in cold weather, wick sweat in hot weather, and they protect against the ticks and underbrush. So basically, in the Scandinavian countries, they have a lot of underbrush, and when they're trekking through, it will snag your pants and stuff, cut up your legs. So the wool will help with that and getting through a lot of that stuff. It is very nice and convenient. The compression of the leg wraps can improve performance in the same ways modern compression garments do. And like I said, I'll get into that. But one of the reasons why, like where's my linen pair? So linen, like, doesn't, as you can see, it goes nowhere. So the part one, it goes nowhere. It has no, like, actual pull give, really. The other problem is linen doesn't stick on linen. It's very soft, and so over time, you'll see people with linen ones, they'll just start to slide down. Doesn't matter how tight I do it. Doesn't matter if there's hooks on them. I will start to watch them come down as the day wears on. Whereas wool, there you are. Whereas wool, if you watch, like, well, it has a little bit of give,
Mechanical stretch.
a little bit more mechanical stretch. It unravels a lot less, like if you look at the tips, and because it stretches, it opens and closes, or it stretches with your calf muscles as you flex and relax. And I'll go over like how how to have your legs slightly proper it up so that way, if you flex with your leg putting them on, your muscles expand, and then when you put the leg wraps on, when you relax, they're in that expand spot and they'll start to slide out. You have to have your legs relaxed when you do them, but also if you make your legs too slender and you tighten it and then you go to expand, now it's too tight and they have nowhere to go. So the wool also is grippy, and so wool on wool will grip a lot better and stay up longer. Now once again, they can fall down. Mine tend to not fall down, but if I'm fighting, that's a different story. You don't like to stay up when I'm fighting. So, like, I prefer wool over linen, always, just because they stay up better. I like the material, and if the washing, you have to wash them kind of similar. You can't put them in a washing machine. You'll mess up your leg wraps. Wash them in a bathtub or a sink with the proper soaps that are meant for whichever individual item. Let's see. Where's you? And if you have any questions, stop me. I am A-okay to be stopped. So I'm gonna wrap over this one just because it's easy to see and I'm lazy right now. So this one has no hook in it, and so I roll all mine. You can roll this way or this way. If you have no hook, it's on the preference of the person. So like, just know that just to go straight up, you want to make sure your pants are tucked up. So if you have your pants all the way down, you do it. When you stand up, if there's no give in the back of your pants, when you stand up, you go, ah! You can't get up because your pants will get that super tightness. You need to make sure there's give. Loose pants are really good at having it because it's that tube. Actually, I'll just keep taking it off to show. It's going to have to come off anyways. So the loose pants I wear has this tube. And like, I make sure you don't want it come down because then you won't have a good enough. You pull it up so you have nice fabric in the back to work with. Bring it up, and I like to wrap mine this way. There are others who do it the other way, which will come around and make sure your leg's at a rest position. You don't want it to flex and you don't want it to go too slender of your calf muscle. And you'll just come all the way around. And I have small calves, so I'll have extra for this one. And that is absolutely fine, but you'll come up from your ankle all the way up to your knee. And you go to tuck it in. So mine is over here right now. And when you tuck it in and then straight down if you can. Because the straight down will help it keep it in better than if you try to go at an angle because it'll pop out a lot easier. Now, some people can, and when you do it nice and tight, even pressure all the way through. If it feels too tight, undo it, and you can just redo it again. It's pretty simple and straightforward, at least for my opinion, for this pattern. You can also do the tuck method for the fancy one like this as well. That is a thing you can do. What's interesting about like doing a tuck, like once again, this can come out. You'll see people who will start losing and unraveling from either top down or whatever. There are people who do this method that will go from top down. That is just preference. I prefer going up. But always make sure like I said, your calf is nice and relaxed. If not, you'll have problems later. Is there any questions on this one? And if you guys want to work with me and stuff as we're going, that is absolutely fine. Yes, you. Also, those are pretty green. Mm-hmm. But I get all my leg wraps from two Baronesses.
Two Baronesses.
Yeah, two Baronesses is where I get all my leg wraps.
Got these ones. I've got the red and black. Like the red is the primary color with the black. Not like that one. The other.
Okay.
And then I've got the purple, the lavender and black, and the silver ones.
And so this pair is a monster. It's awesome. I love it.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So, Jarl Floki told me that there's like a certain spot, like where you learn where to start, so that you know where your tab ends if you're pinning them.
If you're pinning them, so I have not fully done it, and so that's also going to depend on the person.
Right.
So Floki's legs are going to be designed different than yours because it'll be bigger or smaller. Yeah. So for you, that honestly, because if I am wrapping this pattern, I start the tab about here, because when I come around, it ends up my hook ends about in this percentage most of the time. If I start the tab about here, because I'll start and come around, and that's when I'll come up, and I'll show you in a minute. When I'm doing just the regular straight lace, it doesn't matter to me as much because I am tucking it in, and I just gotta make sure it's tucked, at least for me.
Right.
So for you, once again, everyone's legs are different, and so you'll have to like play with it to figure out where that start and stop point is. But at this point, I start almost all mine about here.
Okay.
Okay. Brooches. Pinular brooch is another way, and what's great about these are very universal. You'll want to get a metal pair because you need a piece that is pointy. It doesn't need to like go through you, but if you're having to fight the Winnie to get through the leg wrap of the material, means eventually you're gonna get some give, and then the top is not as secure up top. And so, like, I'll show you how to like secure one of these on, but you want the small little metal ones. They don't have to be the fanciest in the world. But, like, these are real nice, and what's great about these is you get these per legs for any of them. So if you can have like 6 pairs in one of these, you're golden. Whereas for all mine, I have hooks in all mine. So one hook, one Winnie, it sticks with that one until the hook comes off forever.
Do they have the annular brooches on the side, on their side as well?
They do. I'm not a fan of theirs. It's not as a sturdy material that I'm a fan of, as well as their hooks. I do have. Is it in this packet? I have on this sheet here, which is my citations of where I get my hooks specifically from. At this point, I have like 5 people like, so when we hit golf course, can you take me hook shopping? And I'm like, yes. I think picked you up a pair.
Yep.
Last year, she sent me money, and I just picked up her a pair as well. So like, and I'll go over the hooks here in a minute, but I wanted to show off the brooch. And just the little pinular brooches.
I have
like
a bunch of these for the tunics and for the cloak. I never thought about using them for the wraps.
And they're so universal. I love them. And so like here in a second, I'll use one of them.
Grim Frost.
Grim Frost makes a good pair.
Leggings. I love them. They're $25.
Yep.
Okay.
That's about almost the same as 2 Baronesses. So for these, I want to do the normal one. These are a lot bigger than I am used to because they're not made for me. So I have excess, so I'm just gonna go down and back up, just so I can show you how to use them. So these, the first time I had to use these, I put these on someone else and I put them facing up, and they graciously told me why you shouldn't do that. So for these, once you get them on, snug it. You'll get your finger a little underneath it, and try not to stab you. I'm not kidding. You're going to stab through and then back up. And you'll want to stab downward, because if you're going to mess with your clothing, you don't stab yourself on the way down. Push it through, and then rotate, just like you would, and now it locks. And it sits there, and since you had that tension the entire time, it will just stay up forever because of the tension up there. And as you see, I had a lot of extra, so I just came back up, and that's fine. But I like the brooches. They're versatile. You can use them like one for your shirt when you have to close period shirts, and then down here you can find all kinds. Like I said, I prefer the metal ones because it is taking a lot of tension to go through. Plastic ones will snap over time, and you don't want a wardrobe malfunction in the middle of trying to get dressed at an event.
No. I didn't think when I got these wrappings to get similar.
No, but if you didn't know, how would you know?
Yep.
And this is why.
Well, I've seen them before, and I've seen people wear it, and I
Just didn't think about it.
brain cramped, because I was getting like some Grim Frost.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Grim Frost sells them.
I didn't think with everything I was getting to
Twilight Forge on Etsy sells them. That's where I get my hooks from specifically. They will also be at Gulf Wars, and they're also at Penzic.
Yeah, we're going to go first.
Good. And if you see me, like, hey, exactly which vendor is it? I will just take you to him. He is so used to me just hauling people over at this point, I think. Like, I walk up and I'm like, I have this much money and I need this many hooks. And he'll just, like, right now, like this, where is it? This one is my favorite pattern. He has like 3 or 4 patterns, and it's consistently always selling out on Etsy. Right now there was 3 left in stock before I started this class this last week. I had to double check for his page, but like, I really like it, but once again, just make sure you get it nice and tight, and just hold the tab and work it through, and like I said, have it down, because when you do this, you don't want to stab yourself. Because I almost stabbed my friend by accident by not knowing that. So that was good to know. And now, let's see if I can get it off. And yeah, and now, I get to undo it. Now, here comes my favorite part, is the hooks, because I have opinions. The fun part is like having people come with me about my opinions, because they get to hear it all the time. I'm trying to find a pair that you guys can see easily. Okay, so once again, I start about here, towards the back. And we're just going to do the simple wrap all the way up, because it is the fastest for me. Come all the way around. So again, I have short legs. Come through. And the hook, and it's my opinion, your hooks should always be, and I'll come around with it here in a second, should be small. The hook should not be super big and wide, and it should come to a point. And the reason why is because when I do it, just grab, make sure there's tension, and I'm done.
Just like an ace wrap.
Just like an ace wrap. That's what it should, because if I have to fight my leg wrap and like try to pull and try to fit it in, it's not as tight. And then over time, as you're moving and walking and running and doing all the fun things, they will come down because you didn't have that hard tension at the top of your knee. Keeping it at the hard tension at the top of your knee, because it's over the bulge of your calf, will keep it up. If it's like a garter, if it's loose up here, it will work its way down over time.
Well, I just always figured, I like going from bottom to top because it's more comfortable,
It is more.
but this sag in the fabric just always was like, that can't be right. It shouldn't be sagging out like that.
It does.
The way you get rid of the sag is by working that way.
Yes. So that is way to work out the sag. But if you notice in the back of this side, it's different, and that's the next pattern we'll go over.
Yeah.
But like I have, and I'll pull out another pair here. So like the hooks, you guys can look at that one as I undo. Ooh. Yeah, it's the blue. Okay. So there's another hook in here that this one was donated to me. And as you can see, the difference first, how wide that hook is, and it's not that sharp. And if you get plastic ones, like last year I had a student in here and he had one of the plastic ones from Bad Baronesses, and I'm not dogging them because they're the best in my opinion on when it comes to leg wraps. There are hooks that they sell that you can buy with them. I was like talking about how I don't prefer them, and in the middle of the class, like one of the students like went to hook and it snapped. Because it is not as durable material. The hook itself, you have to like work it into the fabric, and at that point, it's not, in my opinion, not doing its job as good as just on. You want to get and go.
Mm-hmm.
That problem with these type of hooks, since they're a lot smaller, if you're not careful and your hand slips, you will stab yourself. Yep, be warned. I've done that once.
Yeah, I feel like this one would like eventually ruin your winnings.
And that is the other problem I have with it, because it's forcing a hole in it, and that's the other thing I worry about is. So I tried putting on those last night, and my friend Dimitri got to watch me try to struggle put those on. I was like,
That's when you need to make like
sharpen it.
like a grommet.
Yeah,
in
so
your
it
winnings.
can.
So it's like hook.
Yeah. And so yeah, the reason why I have opinions about it, but like over time I had hooks like these in my first pair, or like the more thinner long ones, and I actually, the longer the hook is, and if it's thin, over time you can bend it. Oops, I did that once with one of my pairs. Guess who now does not have a hook on one of their pairs of leg wraps? Me. Which sucks. But I absolutely love that. But I also, if you have hooks, which puts on, is you have to wrap them a certain way. Hey. Remember I told you hooks are real good sometimes? So if you have a hook, I wrap mine all one way, and I wrap them up my leg a certain direction. You can't be omni-directional because of how it is. So for me, I take the hook and I flip it in, and sit here, and do this. And over time, and I like to wrap mine very tight roll. For me, the tighter the roll, it's easier to handle when you're wrapping it on yourself, because if it's loose, it will move in such a way that it will move in your hand and you might lose it. as you're wrapping. I'm pretty sure last class, I did this last year. I lost one of the rolls as I was trying to put it on. But, as you can see, you just sit here and do this. Almost all my, and don't feel bad for not putting them back into their roll right after an event, because I promise you, I don't either, all the time. And so, like, I'll come home and have to sit for 10-15 minutes for all the leg pairs that I had undone at all fours, and sit here and do this at the couch for a couple minutes so I can have them all back up there nice and pretty and ready to go. But as you can see now, it's back in. Once again, if you have hooks though, since I rolled it inwards, you have to wrap your legs this way. Because if you wrap them this way, guess what's going to be backwards? Your hook. I found that out one time. I figured it out since. No, but if you do your hook the opposite direction and roll it, then you can roll it this way. If you have no hooks or brooches, then it doesn't matter which way you go. If the only time it matters is if you have a pair like this, then which way the color up or down is which color will show more than the other. So that is where that will come into play. Those are a good example of that. So when I want to have black on one side and red on the other, I have to have one this way and one this way when I wrap them. That way I can flip the colors. It is really fun to play with. And so here comes the fun one that everyone always loves to ask me. Once again, have your leg relaxed. I'm going to put them down, and I have a mantra when I do this one. And you'll hear me mutter it to everyone who I leg wrap. Also, if you still have problems and you catch me at an event, if as long as I'm not in the middle of fighting, I will put them on for you. There's more photos now of me putting leg wraps on people than I was like, huh, they're all tagged now. But once again, I start here. I'm going to come around, and we're going to go high up. You can see it comes at a high angle. It's going to caress the back of my calf muscle some. Going to come around. We're going to go low down.
Okay, and it's just high up, low down.
High up. Come around again. Hard down. And then we'll get high up.
Okay.
Low. Here we go. Hey. See? Told you.
That's how I put mine on this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Because when they mail these to you, they're just folded in a
Yup.
plastic container, and brain dead me this morning didn't think about rolling it, so I'm sitting here with this 9-foot thing sticking out, trying to
A
wrap.
great big tail.
Yeah, it's
And
tail
so-
going flop, 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 flop,
Here's the
flop.
fun part about this one. When you're not as experienced sometimes, or if you're not paying attention or lazy, when you start doing it, your pattern will go from like more mid to you will get
Sure.
it on the side. Yes,
It'll crawl.
it will crawl that way.
My calves are a little too big for these wraps.
Yes,
For this pattern.
for that pattern. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. So like I said, if I would have sat there and I could have told you that when I
Yeah.
did it. Yes. So if you want to do that pattern, so these are 10 feet. From Bad Baronesses are from 10 feet. The skeggy size is 15 feet.
Wow, these are just nuts.
Mm-hmm. These are about 10-ish, and then skeggies is about 15. I know because we used a Rúna to measure. We just went up and over. Just up and over, and that's I'm 5 foot flat. So these are 10 feet long, and skeggies are 15. But the 15 will make that full pattern, but for 10 it'll make the normal pattern.
And my calves are way too size difference to do the normal pattern because it's just like gap, 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 gap.
Mm-hmm. Try doing it from top down then.
I did. Gap, 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 gap.
But
I feel that pain.
also when you're wearing roost pants though, if it doesn't fully come up to your knee, that's fine.
Right.
Because it will have because
The
the
floof of the fabric.
floof will come down
Yeah.
some. Also, if you're wearing boots, you can start a little higher up than your ankle
Yep.
to make it further up. That's another thing you can do, but that pattern will probably stick on you a little bit better than the other one with the size difference in your calves. That's also how I roll mine up sometimes, just while it's still on me.
The
Keep
boots
that
had a
tight.
whole lot of sense.
Like the fact you're not wearing Winingas.
Mm-hmm.
I got boots on, it doesn't count.
Well, and that pattern shows up really well because
And that's why I love these
what is it,
herringbones.
a consistent
Yeah.
color like this, it's not going to show up as well.
It doesn't show up as well, and that's why I like all these because they all have that
Right.
type of
Okay.
all of them have a type of border a little bit, so they all do it. And that's what to me makes a world of a difference.
Now, where'd you say you got those at?
These are from Bad Baronesses.
Bad Baronesses. Okay.
Yeah, she sells a lot of buttons, and she has a side table of Winingas. And then, so she sells that, and then I get one of the hooks from a separate vendor. I absolutely love them. I think they're one of the best things ever. I've been wearing them since then. Yeah, it's high up, hard down is what I do. And it just takes some time. There you go. Yeah.
Can't see anything.
Your boots are so small.
Right. I got the little shoes.
Oh, okay, that's good. Also, like if your pants, when you have like the shoes like these, the turn shoes, if your pants stick out a little, because some of my pair of pants will, it covers them and it's nice. Where's my non-hook part? So yeah, go in, high up, like that, low down, high up. See, watch, I wasn't paying attention, so now it's gonna walk the pattern to the side.
Yeah.
If you watch me do this long enough at my own house or in encampment, you'll hear me mutter and throw them off and then redo it. It's because like once I wasn't paying attention, so now the pattern's on the side versus the front where I want it, and that does happen, and that is okay. So like I'll take it off and redo it. It's absolutely valid. I'm also the type of person who has so many more leg wraps now because I want them to match all my tunics.
Okay. Makes sense.
High up, low down. High up, low down. And it'll walk itself around, and then when you get to the back looks a lot cleaner. Which I prefer, and it feels more snug.
Better compression.
And it has a better compression all the way around, which is something that I prefer at wars. When you're walking, 5K a day, I don't sit still very well.
Well, that was what really made the difference for me for the wraps was I realized once I started wearing them, my legs were not getting as tired walking the wars.
So I
Be it
figured that
Lilies,
out.
be it Pennsic, be
Yep.
it golf, my legs are like, we're feeling pretty good still.
Right? So it was like the war, either right before COVID or right after COVID. In that time frame, I spent the first 2 days lazy and didn't wear my leg wraps, and I was like, I wake up next morning, I'm like, why does my legs hate me? And then I put my leg wraps on the third day, and from that point forward, my legs feel great when I woke up, and I could keep going every day and all day long. And I was like, oh, the compression really does help here. Okay. And ever since then, I've worn them all, except for fighting, all the time.
Mhm.
Also, another period thing that I didn't go over is if you see, like, Floki has the thin garment of, like, the thin trim that goes up and down his legs. That is actually very period to do, especially, like, sometimes in the summertime, to keep your pants up, but not to have the full wrap on, is to have that just thin garment, or to have it over your actual wind gauze. So that way it keeps them on a more secure. The other things that you'll see some people wear is like actual garters on top, especially if they don't have this, to secure it better. Like that is a thing that you'll see people use and wear. So Hari has a pair of garters that he wears with his. I use my Centurion garters because garters belong on my legs. And I have enough of them I can have matching. So like I have matching garters, but like that's another thing that people who wrap them will keep them on. Which also, you can use leather or the woven kind, it matters not which, that's just on preference at that point. But those do work and happen,
And that pattern actually feels
more secure.
more secure than just,
The wrap up, yeah.
The wrap
At
up.
this point, I have almost stopped doing the wrap up. For me personally, I prefer this pattern, but I like the more secure feeling that it gives. The only thing you gotta be careful is you can make that pattern too tight. I have done that by accident a few times instead of going and sit back down and redo the whole thing. So you can do it too tight. That is especially with the wool. That is a thing because you can get it to stretch all the way. But they'll learn how to do it just over time, understanding how it feels and like what's comfortable for you. Like right now, I can feel right now I did this one a little too tight for the demonstration, so I'll just refix it.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Or you could always just redo that one so then it's fresh wrap.
This one's actually pretty good. I did it this morning. It's the same. It's the same.
Oh no, I mean because you took that one off.
Oh, I know. But no, it is actually just that when I flex, I can feel the difference.
Gotcha.
But I prefer this. Like I said, I personally prefer it. Those who have bigger legs will have to get the bigger one. I know Bad Baronesses has 3 to 4 color patterns. They are working. Last I talked to them at last call, they were working to get a few more color variations and for the they call it the extra large Winnies. And I think their extra large is also a slightly wider. So it's like an inch or so wider, and then it's just a few feet longer. So, which is a lot nicer.
I can confirm that for you.
I'm pretty sure they have 3 on the website right now. They are also on Etsy.
That's what, I'm doing is going to Etsy.
I'm pretty sure I sent you that website.
Actually, I already knew that they sold them. But I confirmed with you that they were the best Winnies.
That is the
On Etsy, they're called Avalon Natural.
Okay.
Yeah, Avalon Natural. Okay, I have one of their pairs like saved to like my favorites. That's how I find them. Because I can't remember theirs. Whereas like Twilight Forge at this point, I just can get to his website, but that's because I've had to like find them for other people a lot more often. Because they know, but if I don't show up to Bad Baronesses like on the by the 3rd day, they'll be like, "Where's the one that always buys from us?" I like to pop in and chat with them and say hi and hang out. But I also like the amount of times they've watched me just haul people over is a lot at this point. I'm also one of the few people who they never heard someone call them Winnings.
Okay.
And so like I like to abbreviate things because I am me as a person. And so they're like, "That's a new term." And so now I am the Winnie's person.
So they're extra large Winnies. They're 5.25 yards, so 15 and
15
3/4 feet.
Yeah.
Almost 16 feet.
Wow.
With seam, any in stock color.
Oh, they changed it because last time they only had 4 last go for us. But once again, like I said, they were talking with their the person who makes them to make them in any color. So that is an upgrade.
I might have to sell all my Winnies so I can get all extra larges.
Just mark them up like a couple bucks lower.
Yep.
But yeah, absolutely. Hey. And even I, who've done this a lot, will still mess up. Tie up.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't really look like a hard pattern to do.
But it's not too bad.
It's
It's
just thinking
really-
about going through that particular pair's emotions.
Yep. And even like I said, I do this a lot, and you still hear me talk about it, and that's why I don't like this pattern. Because like, if you guys want to feel the difference between that and one of my wools, like
all the weird sag gets hidden
yeah, all the weird
on the
sag gets
inside
hidden.
of your calf.
Right.
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah.
And like the difference in the feel, because that one's
The
linen.
linen versus the wool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I've got a lot of the linen fighter trousers.
Mm-hmm.
But the wool sticks to it pretty good.
Yes, the linen will slide, and doing that pattern and linen. I've had some people come up to me, can you put them on, and I'll either do either or pattern, and every time I'm like, you're gonna hear judgment coming in real hard, and they're like, what? And I was like, I'm wrapping. I'm like, I hate linen for leg wraps.
They're nice and soft.
They're nice and soft. That's the
But that's not what
problem.
you want.
That is the problem. They don't stick very well.
And they
I
breathe
wouldn't
well.
think, I wouldn't think
Yeah.
they keep your legs as warm.
They not as warm. People want them because of like we're on Stewer. Last I checked, on Stewer is hot, and so people think linen breeze would be easier, and I'm like, I don't like them.
Wool breathes just as well as linen does.
It does, especially this is very thin wool.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I wear these in the summer
Oh, yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, My wool ones are wearing.
Yeah, I wear them all year long.
Yeah, I've got linen trousers on, but
Yeah, I have linen
the
trousers.
Winnings are wool.
Yes, the Winnies are wool. And so like that is the difference. Like some of them, like these two are linen. I don't know what fabric this one is. These are all wool. These are all borrowed. So I didn't know how many people are gonna show up. And these are all my personal ones except for the last one.
Cool.
You guys have any questions? Comments, concerns?
You know, I was gonna get a picture of your,
Citation?
the
Yeah, go for it.
citations list.
Go for it. Absolutely. The hard part about the end of this class is like I have to roll up all the Winnies that I undone. So I'll go through several pairs. So that one's the easiest of all of them because it has no hooks, but it is one of the prettiest.
I have a terrible non-period question for you.
Go for it.
Velcro.
Velcro? So Velcro's super good when you're fighting. They stay up pretty well and they stretch real good.
So they sell horse leg wraps
We use for fighting.
that a lot of people use for Winingas when they're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That way
You can
also,
buy them at like Tractor Supply
Yeah.
or
okay.
No, they seriously do. So a lot of the fighters who do insist on wearing them, also because they're horse wraps, they're a little bit easier to clean.
Yeah, right.
And because like you're gonna wash your horse wraps on your horse, so you're gonna wash your horse wraps while you're wearing them. So a lot of them wear it, but also the Velcro that keeps them on pretty well because it's just the cinching, just like that hook that I showed you. And I know a lot of actually really good fighters who insist on wearing leg wraps, wearing a horse wraps instead for while they're fighting. Like I'm pretty sure Hari used to have a pair and sometimes still does. Sir Magnus also has a pair, I'm pretty sure. There's a couple of members of the herd that do that. So like there are some really good fighters out there who wear leg wraps while fighting and will wear horse wraps instead. And like the horse wraps, like the only thing that you can tell if you're really looking at them is you'll see the Velcro, right? Which like if it doesn't bother you, no one cares. But like they're the same type of look as these. These are wool leg wraps. They're just single colored like.
Right.
I just end up liking this pattern a lot. This was my very first pair I ever bought. Thank you. But like, yeah.
What did you say the pattern is on Etsy? There's something?
Natural Avalon.
Natural.
Or Avalon, sorry, Avalon Natural. Jeez.
Avalon Natural, okay.
But like, it is very much an easy way to go about it. They stretch very well. You just be careful. You can over tighten them because they stretch super well. And that just over time is just getting used to how they feel on you and what is too much or too little. Like, I actually have a pair of horse wraps. The only problem is, I have a red pair and a black pair. And one part of the red pair, one part of the black pair is missing the Velcro. So I can mix match them with the Velcro and Velcro on one of each color. And so if you do see me out on the field with them on, you'll see the mix match color. It's because that's all the Velcro I have for the either or. So, but I was gifted a pair. And so like, I actually really do like them.
Yes. Sewing machine?
I do. That is witchcraft. I'm a dwarf and like armor and leather.
Okay.
I am more comfortable with by hand.
Well, I started, okay. I started saying, yeah, Velcro's, I mean, you can go to the Army surplus and buy Velcro.
Oh, you can buy Velcro by the foot.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Oh, there's your matching pair. But yes, Velcro does work. And I do like them. They're really good. They're real simple, and they're one of the easiest ways to get people into them if they don't know where to find actual like wool leg wraps. So I am not like, you can't wear those. No.
Purist.
But you want to wear leg wraps? Let's get you a pair. Like even people who bring me the linen ones, I will complain about it. But let's get you in the leg wraps. That is what you have. Let's go. Like whatever helps you make you feel comfortable and what you got on hand and what makes you feel good in your own skin.
And once you're comfortable wearing it, you'll want to wear it more.
You'll want to wear it more, and you'll look at more different materials and other styles. Like I started off with also a pair of like these almost, but they were in black and gray, like that pair, this pair, but they were also linen. And when I realized I didn't like the linen, I started looking in, and that's how I found these wool ones. These first ones right here. And from this pair, now you see the army behind me. Like over time, this happens. And so like the more you wear them, the more you'll find, the more you'll experiment, and that is what I want. I like seeing people out there like raps. It makes me happy.
The only problem is when they pick up the burrs. Getting the burrs out of the wool.
So, it hurts so much. Hurts so much because you're like, but they're doing their job at getting them off of you.
It's true.
That is their whole job. It just sucks. Get your knife and just pluck them out.
Yeah.
But any other questions?
Great, thank you.
Well, thank you. Put back on my shoe.